Explore the darkness. Explore shadows. Beyond them. Within them. The other side. Explore rage, horror, pain, fear, hate, lust, greed, anger. Explore the worlds of darkness. Explore your chronicles of fear. Explore worlds innumerable, filled with nightmares. Dark Days Radio is a podcast dedicated to horror RPGs, primarily focusing on the worlds of darkness and chronicles of darkness. Dark Days Radio also is home to Darkhammer, a Worlds of Warhammer podcast. You can find all of these episodes at www.darker-days.org. Join us in the shadows.
Welcome one and all to Merely Roleplayers, where theatrical people play role-playing games. Woo! My name's Matt. I'm your compere for this Deja Vu Backstage episode, where I am joined by Alex.
Hello.
I'm joined by Josh.
Hello.
By Dave.
Hi.
And by Ellie.
Hello.
Hello, Ellie. Veteran of all but one of our previous seasons.
Yes.
What?
Yes.
In fact, all but one season and all but two recordings, because there was one Parallax recording that you weren't in.
Correct.
Yes. And we're going to have a little retrospective about your time on the show now.
Yes.
Of the 8 out of 9 seasons that you've been in, what moments still stick with you?
So the one that came to my mind straight away was the moment where I thought I had to kill Dave in Parallax.
Oh, yeah.
And I nearly, sorrow quit.
You did, I remember that.
I found my boundary line.
Yeah.
Listening to it, having not been there myself in that season, you could really hear your voice start to crack at certain moments, and I could just picture your face just awash with grief.
I nearly cried.
And I did consider in editing, because a lot of the time when we have those back and forths about how to resolve a role, I often cut a lot of that discussion out and just for the listener's benefit, just go straight to, okay, what did you do? And here's how it shakes out. But for that one, I felt like I wanted to leave it in because I wanted everyone to understand what an emotional and intense moment it was for you particularly, but for everyone around the table.
Yeah. Dave didn't seem bothered. He was like, yeah, just kill me, whatever.
Yeah, I was listening back. I was like, gosh, I sound very detached from this. Yes, I guess I need to die.
But as a player, if you are killed in a sort of heroic way, then that is great. You've got the power to do that. Whereas if you're the person that's doing the killing, I think you even said that earlier in the episode, then that's an awful thing to have to do with somebody.
Exactly. But obviously, Matt is a merciful leader, and he was like, you could probably just really badly injure him. That'd be fine.
Yeah, probably just shoot his arm off. That'll be fine.
Yeah. Which of course it was, and he looks better without it. So yeah, that was the thing that came to my mind first. And then maybe the second thing was in Amnesty, where I dragged a person along the tracks behind my horse.
Oh, until they were just like a little bag of bloody bits.
Oof. Yeah, that was graphic, wasn't it?
It was a lot. And it was one of those ones where listening back, I was like, what are you doing? You monster.
And I think it was a collaboration between the two of us, because you definitely wanted to be brutal because you were like, I lasso her around the neck and pull her off her horse and drag her behind me.
Yeah.
But then I think it was mostly me that brought up the detail of the railway tracks down the middle of town.
Yes.
And ba-dum, which is a...
Yes, you did the noise, so you're worse than me. Yeah, I mean, it was a great moment for drama, but it did, I think, probably chip away a little bit of my soul as well.
I was going to say, your two favourite moments have been you being incredibly violent.
Yeah. Well, but you can't do it in real life.
It's a nice picture of your growth, because it was an early season one where you did it and it was graphic, and you listened back to it and wondered what you were doing. And then the later season one was one where you had the opportunity to be very violent and you were horrified by yourself.
Yeah, but I mean, it's quite different when it's not a real person character and when it's someone you're actually friends with in real life.
Who's sitting there at the table looking at you.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I don't know if you can bother to go through all the past seasons and do stats for it, but I'd like to see like a body count of who's done what, because I mean, Vicky and Ellie got me up there. Do you know what I mean?
Was
hard done, definitely.
Yeah.
I was tracking that at one point. I think I tracked it through Amnesty, and if anybody was watching our Twitter account while Amnesty was airing, I was doing, every time an episode came out, I did track the body count.
Yeah.
I can't remember who shook out most.
No, I don't know. I think across all the seasons, Vicky will have done quite well because she got rid of a lot of bodyguard number 2 type people in the Spy series.
Yeah. You did blow up that boat though.
Oh yeah, all those innocent people on it.
Oh, I did.
But we established that at least one got away. So
that's fine then. That's fine because
boat -1. That's fine. That's the total number.
That's like neutral then, isn't it?
Half a job, Charlie, not getting the job done. Do you know what I mean?
It's okay. I made sure he never talked about it.
Good.
Other moments were the terrible botch job Josh and I did in Let's Get Gideon, trying to infiltrate the building with terrible accents and an overactive taser.
Was that when you were going in cat burgling, or when you were going in undercover?
It's when we were going undercover. So Josh was still in his security guise, and I was.
You were Olga, or someone with some sort of European accent.
Yeah. Pan-Eastern European accent.
We wanted to go and investigate the toilets, if you remember.
Yes, that's right. We needed to look at the toilets, check they were suitable for our clientele.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They were having none of it. They wanted to escort me into the toilet. And because I rolled so badly, I couldn't talk my way out of it. And then Josh got taser happy. So, all in all, great fun to do. Didn't come out very well, did it? Then another moment was another slightly violent one, which was me knocking down Cobb with a rolling pin in the Cloudskipper and causing Strat's narrative to spiral.
Was it a rolling pin or was it a frying pan?
Oh, it was a frying pan. You're right. It was a frying pan. Oh yes, that makes a much better noise. It was definitely a frying pan. And then just rugby tackling him to the floor and sitting on him, which. Yeah, I think Strat kind of enjoyed, but also panicked because...
I wasn't in that season, but I was in the room while the recording was happening, and I could just see the panic in his eyes.
Yeah. Big moment.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed in Amnesty having a few minutes to play CSI. Analysing that blood spatter was great fun.
I believe you had to correct me because I kept calling it splatter.
Yes, that's right. And that's
not the technical term.
It's not correct.
I know that now.
Yeah. We learn something every day. So yeah, they were the things that popped out. But I mean, there's loads of moments. It was I just went with the immediate ones and tried not to think, but all the other amazing things, and there's probably loads that are more. Yeah.
Has anybody else got any memorable Ellie moments?
I think that hyper-violent one from Amnesty was one of my favourite. Just the rampage that you and Helen went on.
Yeah.
You formed this weird double team that was just basically like Carnage.
Yeah.
Team Carnage arrived in Amnesty, and it was great. It was great fun just to watch it unfold.
It was Team No Witnesses.
Yeah. That's why I blew up the boat.
That was great fun.
I remember in the first Parallax when it was just the two of us, we went down to meet the Snake Lady, and you just failed at everything so badly that it was just awful. And I was like, well, this is the end of this story then. We're stuck on this planet forever.
Yeah, our gameplay just resorted to we need to run away.
Yeah, we got to the point where we were like, right, Matt, how do we get out of this then?
I remember listening to the Spy story that you did, season 5.
Oh, yeah.
Codename Mosaic.
Codename Mosaic. And it was set out very, very early by you, Matt, that torture wasn't a thing that you wanted to explore.
I'd forgotten that.
In general, because it doesn't make for good listening. It can be quite unpleasant, and people that can be triggered by that sort of thing, it's not a pleasant listen. So, Ellie, I'm going to big you up. I'm going to say your interrogation techniques, because you couldn't resort to, I break his fingers, I poke him in the eye. I don't know. You had to resort to actual like face-to-face roleplay to get the information out, and it was painful at times to listen to because Matt wasn't giving a lot up. But like, kudos to you to exploring that creatively to come up with a different way.
I think I just kept offering them crisps, didn't I?
Yeah, because we'd established that you had a special technique where it was like you get them to accidentally drop details.
Oh yeah, by having banal conversation.
And I think I hadn't quite worked out how to roleplay that opposite you. And I remember, I think that was the beginning of our minor catchphrase. What are you going for?
Yeah.
What's your intention
What do you
here?
want?
But what I'm trying to do.
What was really nice was that your sort of bafflement worked for the character you were playing as well, because that is presumably how one would respond if you were expecting a violent interrogation and then someone just kept asking you what your favourite crisps were. So it worked well.
Yeah.
But I also don't think I knew the answer to what do you want. Yeah, and I kept talking about snacks in that episode, didn't I? Everywhere we went, every safe house, I was like, have you stocked the fridge?
Important knowledge to have.
Yeah. It is. And that was the season as well where we had, I think, our one and only sex scene.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah, we did. We faded to black on it, but it happened.
Tasteful.
Yeah.
Tasteful.
Yeah, it happened.
That's another stat that you can throw in there. Ellie's winning that one.
Yeah, the body count I'm really bothered about.
Wow, body count. That's how we're quantifying that now. Great.
That's not how I really
Is that why it
feel.
faded
I
to
did
black?
it for the joke.
So, because it was the first that you said, and that you said it was the first one that came to mind when you started thinking about what was the most memorable moment.
Yeah.
I guess we're going with Parallax. It's going to be the one that is your +1 to remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you had that intense moment where you accidentally shot Dave. That memory is strong, and that version of yourself is easier to bring to mind.
Does she get a +1 to shoot Dave in this coming scenario as well?
It's the only time in that series where, because I've been shooting so badly, I thought, I really hope I continue to shoot badly.
So then, of all those 8 seasons that you've been in, is there one that you feel like there's unfinished business, or the story isn't finished, or you would want to revisit it at some future time?
I think so. There's 2 seasons that were fairly obvious to me because I think they have real scope to do like several seasons of. One was Mosaic and one was Let's Get Gideon, because they're both not formulaic, but they're both kind of like you have teams of we're spies, we're a heist team, and then you can encounter different stories and keep rolling with it. And they were both ones that I think, partly because they were so action-packed, felt really fun to do.
Yeah, I guess and particularly, in fact, with both of those genres, as you did more and more, you would have a bigger and bigger backlog of people that you've wronged,
yes,
and that are out for your blood, that you can start bringing back in future seasons.
And also on the flip side of that, you build a network of useful people that you can revisit for different things as well. And I think they were both seasons where I had various skills that I never put into use, just because the narrative never gave me the opportunity to. So that would be something fun to sort of do that I didn't get to do the first time round.
Is there one that is more than the other that you feel like you have unfinished business in?
Probably the heist. Yeah. I'd be really intrigued to do a heist that went well. I want to know what that feels like.
Hey, I believe the final roll of that season meant that everything that had happened up to that point was all part of your plan. So technically,
I mean, I feel a little bit like we were children playing Monopoly with a parent who went, oh no, it's okay, there's a rule where at the end everyone gets given some money, so you've actually all done really well.
Pity win.
Oh, don't worry, you can just roll this dice, and then if it comes out with a result you like, then you've won everything. And if it doesn't, we'll just roll it again.
Okay. Well, with that in mind, that means that that season, season 4, Let's Get Gideon, our heist season, you get a +1 for that one as well, to recall that.
Okay.
So then the $1 million question. Which of these versions of yourself that you've played is the closest to the real Ellie, and which is the furthest away?
So I feel like this is a bit of a boring answer, but the series that feel the closest to who I am in real life are the ones where the setting is like very similar to the real world, and we're actually doing theatre stuff.
Yeah, that's sort of, I guess that's
so for
natural.
me it was Ariadne, which is the first series, 5 Stage of Rescue, and Upstaged, because they were all the closest to the real world.
Sorry, what was that last one?
Upstaged! Sorry, I don't know what happened there. So they're definitely the ones where I felt like I was pretty much just, well, what would I do in that situation? So, yeah, those were the ones. It's hard to distinguish between them.
Yeah, does anybody want to weigh in on, out of those three, which Ellie felt most like actual Ellie?
Yeah, so it was Ariadne, 5-Stager Rescue, and Upstaged.
I think definitely Ariadne for me, personally.
That makes sense. I mean, it was the first one we did.
Yeah,
as time went on, you became less like yourself.
Yeah, I was more confident to make decisions that I probably wouldn't make in the real world, to just see what would happen and do it for fun. So
those characters were almost exaggerations of pre-existing characteristics of yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
You just got it turned into a caricature of each of your various strange personalities.
Yes. Yeah, and I think in Ariadne I was quite concerned with the admin.
Yeah. You took charge a lot in that season, which is very you.
Yes.
All right, well, that gives you a +1 to remember your Ariadne self.
Okie doke.
And then, so which one's the furthest away?
I mean, it's got to be Town Called Amnesty. The levels of violence are...
Very not you.
Very not me. But possibly indicative of an underlying level of rage that I wasn't aware I had.
Was it cathartic?
Oh, yeah.
Along with the horror at yourself?
I mean, I had a great time doing it. And actually, I lied a little bit earlier. When I listened back, I was horrified and thrilled. So, I would definitely say Amnesty.
Okay, well, so that gives you a -1 to recall Ellie. What was it? Ellie West Desperado.
Yeah.
Was your name in that season.
Yeah. Married to Will Smith. So that's -1.
That's a -1 to remember that one.
A -1. I have so many notes on that sheet. Actually, a regret from that series was that I basically forgot Tilly was there.
Yes. Okay.
So she was like there at the beginning, and then I thought I just forgot she was around.
Yeah.
And at no point did I put a tiny saddle on her.
What would have ridden her though? Like a mouse?
A mouse. We know it's a mouse, Matt.
Do you feel so? Because you are the person who's done the most seasons. I
am very seasoned.
You are very seasoned. I wanted to ask about characters, other memorable characters that you've interacted with. Do you feel like you have friends that you've made along the way, or enemies, or even potentially a nemesis?
Ooh. So I obviously always really enjoy our interactions with Errol, although I also find him very annoying. Bing. Such a lovely character. And I think we all fell in love with him a little bit. Like, he's just so sweet. So definitely Bing. I don't know about like a nemesis. I mean, I angered a lot of people, but I got rid of them. I did really enjoy the somewhat banal conversations I had with the old rich lady in the Spy series when I was trying to get information about like the upper echelons of the exclusive VIP access. She was called like Marjorie or something.
Something like that. Yeah, I hardly remember her.
But I kind of enjoy those interactions where it's someone that we see once, we never refer to or see again, and it's often a sort of banal conversation because you're just trying to get one piece of information from them. I really enjoy that.
Okay, yeah, I mean that's quite fun. Just to do a throwaway person. Like I can go a bit big with this character because I know that we don't have to sustain them or give them like believable, consistent motivations.
Yes. So basically, Matt, of all of the characters that you've created, I like the 2D ones. The ones that, you really don't have to create any backstory for, put any effort into.
The ones that when we try and find them, we can see that look of terror in your eyes and your eyes racking up a generic name. Because if you've got an established character, you go through and I can see you've got pages of lore and personality traits and stuff, and they would say, "Oh, what's the barman look like?" You're like, "Barman's called Keith. He's a tall guy."
So that maybe in the early seasons I was like that, but there was a point where I learned that if I blank on a name, I can just ask Ellie for one.
Yeah.
Oh, genius.
I love names.
And that's how we got, speak her name in hushed tones, Lulu Bagoo from Let's Get Gideon.
Not my finest work.
You said, "I love names. My favourite name is Lulu Bagoo."
But it painted an intense picture of her. Like, we all knew exactly what she looked like the moment you said that name.
That is true.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what the names I've come up with. Derek Hardweather, I think was one I came up with.
Yours. Did you come up with all the code names in Spies as well?
I can't remember.
I think you turned up that day with a big long list of potential code names.
Oh yes, I did.
Yeah.
I did. But they were all didn't work, and I ended up using either yours or Vicky's, I think. But I'm not very good at code names, just at people names.
Like Lily Bagoo.
Like Lulu Bagoo.
Yeah, standard people name.
Yeah, like the normal ones.
Well, final question.
Yes.
You've done more genres with us than anybody else, but are there others that you wish we could have done, or that you wish we might do in the future?
I'd definitely like to do one that's a standard procedural crime drama.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. So something along the lines of, Midsummer Murders.
Yeah.
Poirot.
So more whimsy.
Quite silly would be quite fun, like a sort of sleuthy one.
Oh, you could do like a Jonathan Creek style.
Oh, I'd love to do a Jonathan Creek one. But I would probably also actually like to do a sort of CSI one as well, where you've got like the lab technicians.
Uh-huh.
Oh, we're just doing this DNA analysis. Let me put on some cool rock music while we montage that. That'll work really well on a podcast.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I think also which we sort of touched on in Drop Stitch, to do like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but not set in a high school, because that would be quite irritating. But some kind of like supernatural monster fighting situation.
Those all sound like tantalising possible prospects.
You're
for the
welcome.
Future. Maybe we'll see them. Maybe we won't. I don't know what's going to happen.
No one does.
But I do know that for now you are ready to experience some deja vu. You've been listening to Merely Roleplayers. In this season, you'll hear Ellie Pitkin, Alex Pankhurst, Josh Yarden Dave, Chris Starkey, Chris Buxey and Chris, Helen Stratton, Ellen Gould, Natalie Winter and Strat, all playing various versions of themselves, along with special guest appearances by Ellie Pitkin as Nia and the Space Jam Continuum podcast's Chris McLennan as Candice. I'm Matt, and I edited and produced the season, wrote and performed the theme music, and designed and ran the game we're playing. Like most of our games, this one's powered by the Apocalypse. You can find more games in this genre at apocalypse-world.com/pbta. If you enjoy Merely Roleplayers, let us know with a review or rating on Apple Podcasts, Podchaser, or wherever you do your listening. You can also find us on Twitter at Merely Roleplay, at facebook.com/Merely Roleplayers, and at merelyroleplayers.com. Merely Roleplayers is an independent production in association with Blackshaw Theatre Company. Join us for more drama next episode.